You've heard it, right? This term design thinking. It feels like it's suddenly everywhere you look, from startup pitches to new government policies. But what on earth does it actually mean? Well, let's break it down and make it super simple.
Yeah, this is the big question, isn't it? It feels like this term just exploded across India almost overnight. So, really, what is all the fuss about? Why is everyone so obsessed with this particular way of solving problems all of a sudden?
And I bet you know exactly what I'm talking about. You hear it in the pitches from all those Bengaluru startups, you hear it in meetings at big tech companies. Heck, it's being taught in business schools now. It's even popping up in education policy and big government projects. So, yeah, this is definitely more than just a passing buzzword. Okay, so first things first, before we dive into what design thinking is, let's get really clear on what it isn't. A lot of people think it's just, a chaotic brainstorming session where you throw ideas at a wall, or that it's just another way to say, be creative. Nope. It's actually a very structured and disciplined process. All right, here we go. This is the absolute heart of it, the big secret behind design thinking. It doesn't start with a business goal. It doesn't start with a cool new technology. It always starts with people. So here's the official definition for you. It's a human-centered, iterative, problem-solving approach. Now, the two key words you really need to remember are human-centered and iterative. Human-centered just means you put people first. And iterative, that just means you don't expect to get it perfect the first time. It's a cycle. You try something, you learn, you improve, you try again. And this quote just nails it. It perfectly captures that huge shift in mindset. The old way of thinking was, hey, we've got this tech. What can we build with it? Design thinking completely flips that on its head. It asks a much more powerful question. What is a real human need that we can actually solve? That one change changes everything. This comparison makes it crystal clear. Traditional thinking, right? It jumps straight to the solution. Let's build an app. We've all heard that a million times. But design thinking, it makes you pause. It starts with empathy. It asks the real question, like, hold on, what is the actual day-to-day struggle for this street vendor? It's all about understanding the person before you even dream of a solution. So you might be wondering, how does this actually work? Well, it's not just a vague idea. It's guided by a really practical 5-stage framework. Let's walk through it. So step 1 is empathize, and this means really truly understanding your user's world. Then you define the problem. Based on what you learned, what's the real issue here? After that, you ideate. This is where you brainstorm tons of possible solutions. Next, you prototype. You build a quick, simple, low-cost version of your best idea. And finally, you test it with actual users to see what works and what doesn't. But here's the most important thing to remember. This is not a straight line. It's not a step-by-step recipe. It's a loop. What you learn during the test phase might send you right back to ideate, or even all the way back to empathize to understand things better. It's a constant cycle of learning and refining. Okay, enough with the theory. Theory is great, but let's see how this whole thing works in the real world. Let's use a practical example that's really relevant here in India. Okay, so here's our challenge. It's a massive one, right? It affects millions of people. Now, the traditional approach might just be, oh, let's build them a banking app. But a design thinker, they're going to start from a completely different place. This is what that empathize stage actually looks like. You're not sitting in an office looking at spreadsheets. You're out there, talking to construction workers, to delivery partners, to domestic help. You're listening to their stories about money, understanding their fears, their goals, and you're discovering the informal systems they already use and trust, like chit funds or committees. And after all those conversations, something amazing happens. A deep insight emerges. You realize that for this group of people, trust and simplicity are way more important than any fancy, complex features you could ever build. That's the golden nugget right there. And so the solution flows directly from that human insight. Instead of that complicated banking app, maybe the idea is a super simple digital tool that feels just like the trusted committee system they already know and use. And crucially, it has to work on the most basic smartphones. See? The solution is born directly from empathy. And that example shows it perfectly. Design thinking is so much more than just a process for making products. At its core, it's a powerful problem-solving mindset.
What's really cool is when you realize this same mindset connects all these different design fields. A fashion designer uses it to understand the wearer's comfort. An interior designer uses it to get how a family really lives in a space. A UX designer uses it to map out a user's digital journey. It's all the same human-centered thinking, just applied to different problems. And hey, for any design students watching this, listen up, because this is absolutely crucial. In your entrance exams, in your career, people aren't just looking at your final polished design. They're testing your process. They want to see how you think. So, to sum it all up, this is what it's about. Design thinking gives structure to your creativity. It's not about just sitting around waiting for a random stroke of genius to hit you. It's about having a reliable, repeatable process that leads you to truly innovative solutions that people will actually love. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Just look around you, at your home, in your community, at your job. Now that you understand this framework, what's an everyday problem, a small frustration that's just waiting for someone to solve it by starting with that one simple question? What do people actually need?